welcome back to Friday's edition of Ducks Morning Brew. And we got some fun stuff to talk about today. Obviously, we've got a game tonight, a must-win game against the Senators, and we'll get into a little bit of a preview of that game near the end of the show. But we got the fun stuff, the prospects, the kids. Mason McTavish went back to Peterborough, obviously sent back after playing 9 games with the Ducks to maintain his entry-level contract status. He recorded a hat trick last night in his season debut. So it's just one of those things for the kids. He goes back to the Ontario Hockey League, comes down from the show, and he's got to show everybody who he is and why he had that 9-game stint with the Ducks. But a great game all around from McTavish in his debut this season for the Peterborough Petes, and then Olen Zellweger as well he's been good all year. We've talked about him a few times already on the show, a few episodes I think already, and he is leading the WHL in points per game and just having another monster season to go off of the small sample size he had with Everett last year. So just a really good start for him, and I can't wait to dive into him. But we got to go and start with the big news of the day, and that is Mason McTavish's hat trick last night. So Mason McTavish, as we said, back in the lineup for the Peterborough Petes on Thursday. He missed their initial game because it was like a day after, I think, that he got from when he got sent back. I got sent back, I think, on the Sunday, and they played on the Monday, so he wasn't making that one. Still had to fly back in, but back in the lineup, centering, I think, the top line for Peterborough, or at least maybe the second line. I know Tucker Robinson's their best player, and I think he still, I guess, maintains that top line status, but playing on a line with Emmett Sproul and Flyers prospect J.R. Avon last night, and they were clearly the Pete's best offensive weapons. McTavish finished with the hat trick, had 10 shots on goal last night, and was 12 for 22 on the face-off dot, and he just looked like a man amongst boys, and that's what you want, right? I mean, this guy already has NHL size. Now he has NHL experience. He knows what it takes, and he knows what's expected of him to go back to that league and just be one of the best players, if not the best player in the entire league. And I mean, there's some really, really good players in that league. We know that already from Sasha Pastuov being there, but you think Luke Evangelista for the Predators prospect for the Knights, and Shane Wright, obviously, who's the projected number 1 overall pick for the upcoming draft. McTavish is right among those players to likely finish as one of the top point getters and probably one of the top goal scorers too. If you remember when he was in his draft year, he was touted as one of the elite goal scorers from the Ontario Hockey League, and he's gotten off to a pretty good start to getting up there with Sasha Pastuov, and it might be a fun little race for the Ducks. I mean, McTavish has a lot of ground to make up, and it's probably not going to be able to make it up on Sasha Pastuov, but when you look at goals per game at the end of the season, I would not be surprised to see McTavish at number 2 and Sasha Pastuov at number 1. I got all the confidence in the world in McTavish to go out and just completely dominate this league, and obviously Pastuov has been doing it, and they play tonight, and I'm going to see him play on Sunday, so let's hope he continues getting things going there. But it's a big win for the Petes too. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. North Bay is the best team points wise in the Eastern Conference. It's a big 5-3 win, obviously driven by McTavish. He got the game-tying goal a couple times, as well as the game-winning in quotes empty netter last night to seal the deal. So really, really not much more you could ask for McTavish back in his season debut, and I expect more things to come from the kid. I mean, he goes down there, he's got the age, you can see in the highlights now. He's going to be a big part of that dressing room, and I don't think he's slighted at all for getting sent down. I'm sure he would have loved to stick with the Ducks for the rest of the year, but you know he's going to use that as motivation to come back down to this league and just completely tear it up. So I'm excited to watch some more games from him down there. He looks really engaged and ready to go, and you can't really beat a stat line of a hat trick, 10 shots on goal, and 12 for 22 in the face-off dot. You know, he's doing everything you hope for him, playing center and scoring goals and being a real pest in front of the net. So that's all we can hope for, and I'm glad to see him get off to such a hot start. All right, on to Olen Zellweger, and like I said, we've chatted about him a couple times already on the show in the little 10 episode stretch that we've done so far, and for good reason. I mean, he's just been unbelievable this year. he had such a big expectations put on him to come out and prove which player he was, because you look at his rookie season, I think he had about 20 points in 50 games, which isn't bad, especially for a rookie and one of his age. But then he comes out last year and puts up over a point per game. I think it was 13 points in 11 games, and it was such a small sample size. But then he went to the U18 tournament for Canada and was one of their best players offensively from the blue line there as well. So everybody was wondering, well, which guy is this? Is he, the half a point per game guy who's just a really good skater and a little bit undersized, or does he have that next level offensively that he's added to his skill set? Well, he's coming out this year and he's proved he's the latter, which is excellent news for Ducks fans. But he leads the WHL right now in points per game with 1.13. The next guy is Ronan Seely, who is also on the Everett Silvertips. So a couple of his teammates are right in the mix there. He's got 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points in 15 games. He's second among defensemen in goals with the 6, and 6 in total points because he's played a little bit less games. The 15 games he's played is about 5 or 6 less than some of the guys that are leading the league in points by defensemen. But the one that real matters for me is the points per game, and he's tops in that. So it's been a real, I don't want to say redemption season for Zellweger, but proven any doubters that were out there wrong, that he is this guy and he isn't just a very, very quick skater. He also has this offensive upside to him. And one of the things that's really intriguing, and if you want some comparisons, is Byron Bader, who runs the site Hockey Prospecting, put a tweet on him yesterday mentioning how it's just really unheard of to see a player this young produce at this rate in the WHL. And the one guy that the one exception for that over the last few years has been Bowen Byram, who went 4th overall to the Colorado Avalanche. And to think, Zellweger went in the 2nd round to the Ducks, and he could be, even if he gets anywhere close to that, that's an absolute steal. If he makes the NHL as a 2nd rounder already, that I guess you can consider that a steal. But man, if he becomes a top 4 defenseman and can be a real impact player for the Ducks, that's all you could ask for at this point. And it's crazy, mentioning his age as well, the fact that he was 5 days away from being eligible for this upcoming draft. So he essentially is as young as he can get. He was one of the youngest players, I think, if not the youngest player in the 2021 NHL entry draft, and that's always something that intrigues a lot of teams, especially his production at both Everett and for Canada at the U18 tournament last year. His age is something that's going to draw a lot of attention, and he's got a full year of development behind a lot of these guys. When you look at that and the fact that he's still doing this, you wonder how much more room to grow does he have. And it seems like the ceiling is unlimited for him right now, the way he's been playing, and he's essentially playing himself onto Team Canada's roster for the World Junior Championship. Whether he's going to be a key player there, one of the 4, 5, 6, 7 defensemen that make the team, either way, it's a guy that I think even a year ago probably wasn't even on the radar. And the fact that he's played this well and been such a valuable player for Everett and even for Hockey Canada at different tournaments, he's making a case. He's making a case to be there. I think he should be there. McTavish is likely going to be there. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. You got to think Pastuov is going to be there for the U.S. Perreault is going to be there for the U.S. So the Ducks are going to have a lot of fun players at the World Junior Championship this year. And the 3 of their top prospects from the 2021 NHL entry draft are likely going to be there. I would assume McTavish for sure. Pastuov, the way he's playing, and it's a weaker U.S. team, I can't imagine he doesn't make it. He used to play for the NTDP, so he's very familiar with USA hockey. So I'd imagine he makes it, but that would be a huge home run for the Ducks to have Zellweger also make Team Canada's roster for the World Junior Championship and have their first 3 picks from that draft make the team and play for gold at the World Junior Championship. So that's pretty crazy, but love to see it, man. I love these prospect updates. I love keeping up with it, and it's going to be a big part of the show going forward because we got to do 5 of these a week, right? There's only so much Ducks news we have out there, so I love taking a look at these guys and seeing what they're doing, and it's been a fun year to do that. A lot of because of Pastuov and Zellweger and McTavish, but we're at some point here we'll take a look at some of the college kids and see what they're doing, because the Ducks have a lot of good young players out there that are just on the cusp of making the team or jumping up to pro hockey and playing for San Diego. So look forward to seeing Zellweger continue to play well. I think he plays tonight, so we'll hopefully see that point streak continue and him continue to do well offensively. All right, and last look ahead here. Not much Ducks news, so we're going to take a look forward at tonight's game against the Ottawa Senators. I think if you had to peg any game as a must-win, it's probably this one. The Senators have been one of the worst teams in the league in the month of November. They have a 1-8-1 record. Their only win coming against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and their only non-regulation loss coming earlier in the month. So this is a game you have to win, especially after 3 tough losses. Carolina and Nashville were close games. I thought the Ducks deserved to either get a point of or at least win. And the game against Colorado was a tough one. That was really, I would say, their worst game of the season. I said that yesterday. Their only loss by more than 1 goal since their 5-1 loss to Winnipeg. You need a bounce back effort here, and you don't get much easier layups handed to you than a bounce back game against the Ottawa Senators, and I think they need a big win to head into Sunday against a tougher team in Toronto with some confidence. So it has to be a game where you come out and you have a statement game. I don't think you can't win this game 2-1. You got to come out and play to the best of your ability. And the Sens are the worst team defensively in the league. They're 32nd in goals against per game. And the Ducks have been the surprise package offensively this year. Their power play has been really good, and the Sens PK is ranked 28th. So this is a game you got to come out. The power play has to do well. Offensively, the Ducks have to get going. I know not having Adam Henrique's going to hurt, but hopefully Troy Terry can get back on the board. Zegras and Milano and Raquel can keep playing well, and it's one of those games you have to win. I think if they lose this game, there's the potential for the wheels to fall off here and for the confidence to go out the window. You could see how confident this team was playing along this 8-game winning streak, and you got to hope that game against Colorado is deflating, that they can bounce back, because you cannot have a bad loss at home to the Senators the way they're playing right now. They've got to come out full force and really take advantage of this opportunity for them to get back into it here. And Ottawa's without one of their best players too, in Drake Batherson, so they're just as shorthanded as the Ducks are. They had a lot of players go into COVID protocol. They had a 3-game stretch where they had games postponed, so they're just kind of getting back into the mix after a long layoff. So this is the game. You got to take advantage of it. I think heading into Sunday, it's really tough to go into a game against Toronto on a 4-game losing streak and to lose to a team like the Sens. You just can't have that happen. But got to be more positive. We'll hope that this will be a good game tonight. I think it will be a Ducks win. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these guys step up and lead the Ducks to victory tonight. But that will do it for Ducks Morning Brew for this week. We'll be back on Monday. We'll take a look at the game on Sunday against the Leafs and any of the news for some of the prospects. I'll talk about Sasser Pastrov because I'm going to see him on Sunday, so we'll talk about that on Monday's episode as well. And also stay tuned for the weekly podcast. I believe we are going to record that tomorrow, I would imagine. Sunday is looking fairly busy, plus the Ducks game, so I would say we're going to attempt to record that on Saturday, so either check that out on Twitch Live if you can make it. If not, check it out here or on our, any of the podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything like that, if you want to check that out, because we'll be breaking down the last week of Ducks action and taking a look at some of the top performers over the week. So thanks for coming out, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.